This lesson will be about the part 2 of laws of exponents, and we're going to discuss zero exponent, negative exponent, quotient of powers, and power of a quotient. So let us start with zero exponent. In here, you have to remember that a raised to 0 is equal to 1, which means that any base who has 0 as its exponent, then it will be equal to 1. For example, 2b squared raised to 0. As you observe, this is our base, and this base is raised to 0, which means this is already equal to 1. However, in number 2, say we have 9a raised to 0. As you can see, it is only a who is raised to 0, which means this will be equal to 1. So 9 times 1. Why do we still have 9 in here? Because 9 is the numerical coefficient and it is not raised to 0. And so, 9 times 1 is 9. Next is about negative exponent, wherein a raised to negative m is equal to 1 over a raised to m, which means that the negative exponent will be positive exponent, but it's already in the denominator. For example, a raised to negative 3. As you observe, negative 3 is the exponent, which means this will be equal to 1 over a raised to positive 3. Again, the exponent becomes positive, but it's already in the denominator. For number 2, 7a raised to negative 4. As you observe, we have here a numerical coefficient which is 7, which means that the numerator will be 7. And a raised to negative 4 will be here on the denominator, and the negative 4 as its exponent will be positive 4. And so the answer will be 7 over a raised to the 4th power. So we will use this in our other examples. Next, quotient of powers, wherein a raised to m all over a raised to n is equal to a raised to m minus n, where m is greater than n. This means that we're going to subtract the exponents. Now this is what we are going to do when the exponent m is greater than the exponent n. Say we have a raised to 5 over a raised to 3. This will be a raised to 5 minus 3. And 5 minus 3 is 2, and therefore the answer is a squared. However, there is another way on how you can solve this, through a long method. So let us show or illustrate a raised to the 5th power. This is equivalent to a times a times a times a times a. And our denominator is a cube. And this is equivalent to a times a times a. A over a is 1. A over a is also 1. And this one will be also 1. So we have here 1 times 1 times 1. And that is just 1. So we have here 1 as the numerical coefficient. Then we have a times a, and that is equivalent to a squared. However, if the numerical coefficient is 1, you don't need to write it anymore, and therefore the answer will be just a squared. Another, a raised to 8 all over a raised to 10. As you observe, 8 is less than 10. Now what is going to happen? So we have a raised to 8 minus 10. From what we have studied about the integers, 8 minus 10, this will be equal to negative 2. So you have a raised to negative 2. However, this is not yet the final answer because you have a negative exponent. Now, from what we have studied about negative exponent, this will be positive, but this will be equal to this. So a raised to negative 2 will be equal to 1 over a squared, which means to say that this will be the final answer. Another, a raised to 5 b raised to 8 all over a cubed b squared. So as you observe, we already have two variables. So the exponent of a will be 5 minus 3. And the exponent of b will be 8 minus 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. So we have a squared. 8 minus 2 is 6. So we have b to the 6th power. And so the answer is a squared b to the 6th. Another, say we have a raised to 6 b raised to 4 all over a raised to 10 b raised to 7. So we will have a raised to 6 minus 10. Then we will have b raised to 4 minus 7. So 6 minus 10 is negative 4. And 4 minus 7 is negative 3. As you observe, their exponents are both negative. And again, we are going to use what we have studied about negative exponents. So this will be equal to 1 over a raised to 4b cubed, because the exponents in here are negative. Another, a squared b to the 4th all over a raised to 4b raised to 9. So we will have a raised to 2 minus 4 and b raised to 4 minus 9. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. And 4 minus 9 is negative 5. Again, these are negative. So the answer will be 1 over a squared b to the 5th. Next, 18 a to the 6th b to the 9th over 6 a to the 4th b cubed. As you observe, we already have a numerical coefficients. So we have 18 over 6. So we are going to simplify this. However, let's set aside this first. And then the exponent of a will have 6 minus 4. And then with b, we have 9 minus 3. So let us simplify first the numerical coefficient. 18 over 6 is equal to 3. Then, when we subtract the exponent of a, 6 minus 4 is 2. And then, when we subtract the exponent of b, 9 minus 3, this will be 6. And so the answer is 3a squared b to the 6th. Another, 12 over 15. So we will simplify this. Then, we have 8 minus 5. And the exponent will be 7 minus 9. 12 and 15, they are both divisible by 3. So when we simplify this, we will divide the numerator and the denominator by 3. 12 over 15. So when we divide it by 3, 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So this is already equivalent to 4/5. Next, we have here A. 8 minus 5 is 3. And then with the B, we have 7 minus 9, that will be -2. As you observe, the exponent of B in here is negative, which means to say this will be written in the denominator. So we have 4a cubed over 5b squared. Why? This is because of what we have discussed about negative exponents. Now, why is it that a cubed is on the numerator? This is because the exponent of a is positive. Next, let us discuss power of a quotient, wherein a over b raised to m is equal to a raised to m b raised to m. For example, a over b raised to 5. This will be equivalent to a to the fifth, b to the fifth. Another, b cubed over c raised to the fifth power. So, since b has an exponent which is 3, we are going to multiply it to 5. So b raised to 15. Why? Because 3 times 5 is 15. Now what will be the exponent of c? The exponent of c in here is 1. And 1 times 5 is 5. So we have here b raised to 15 over c raised to 5. And for the last one, we have 2x cubed over 3y quantity squared. So let us start with the numerator. 2 squared. Why? Because the exponent of 2 in here is 1. So 1 times 2 is 2. Now what will be the new exponent of x? 3 times 2 is 6. How about with 3y? So the exponent of 3 in here is 1. And 1 times 2 is 2. The exponent of y is 1. And 1 times 2 is also 2. So let us now simplify. 2 squared is equivalent to 4. So this will be 4x to the 6. 3 squared is equivalent to 9. So this will be 9y squared. And therefore the answer will be 4x raised to the 6th power over 9y squared. And that's it. I hope you learned. Thank you.